Hello, folks. This is me, the Trashmand here. Today we got another episode of Papa Trashy's FunTime podcast. I'm probably gonna officially do these on Mondays and Thursdays, to be honest. Hopefully that's a good schedule with you. I kind of like it. I'm gonna see how it goes. So let's get started. I actually heard some grievous news about a shooting. Granted, I know I don't want to be too rude into reality, but I just want to say what I heard. There was a shooting in, I think it was Florida, somewhere in Florida, and I forget exactly where it happened, but I believe there was, I think, 18 or so injured during that, which is very tragic, and my hearts go out to the families. Now, I want to get on something. It's a very serious thing, and there was recently a thing in Maine, and I don't want to make this too depressing, so I'm just bringing this up just because I feel like it needs to be said, that stay safe. And it kind of sucks that this is kind of the world that we live in, but hey, I'm really hoping that it gets patched up later on, but my heart's go out to the families, and let's get on to some more funny news. Risk of Rain Returns is coming out, I think, on November 8th, and I'm really excited. I'm actually going to get that day one, and I'm going to probably love it. I love the original Risk of Rain, and I love Risk of Rain 2. I think they're both some of the most top line and fantastic roguelikes ever made, other than maybe a Binding of Isaac. I think Binding of Isaac is absolutely a masterpiece. I love Binding of Isaac. I play a lot of modded stuff on Binding of Isaac. It's really fun. I've gotten back into the groove of that game. But yeah, I'm really excited for Risk of Rain Returns, because I love the 2D format, and I think the 3D format was amazing for 2. I really am glad that they're doing this type of thing, still making their games. And from what I have full confidence in the company to make a good third game, honestly. I mean, they've had a very good track record, so I genuinely have faith in them. I have much better faith than maybe some people would for other game companies, but I don't think there's many ways they could, mess up Risk of Rain Returns, honestly, because they're sticking with the pre-existing formula and just improving upon it. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited to see where this plays out. I'm probably gonna play this a crap ton on my Steam Deck, to be honest. Just not back there, back there. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm kind of slow-minded today. Anyway, yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I genuinely really wish the best for the devs of that game, to where it turns out great. Anyway, I'm gonna probably bring this up into a later podcast as well, with a special guest who's very into Ark games, but I'm just gonna bring this up right now. Ark Survival Ascended. If you don't know, that's basically just improved gameplay mechanics and like performance improvements over Ark Survival Evolved that they just released recently. And it was supposed to be, obviously the definitive way to play Ark, and you have to spend $40 to get the same game that you already have but just slightly less clunky, and it flopped. There's no other way twisting the way around it. I mean, it barely runs from what I've seen, and you need, apparently, like from what the reviews say, you need like a super NASA computer just to be able to play the optimized version of Ark Survival Evolved. Granted, I guess that's not saying much since that game was already broken. Um, yeah, and with the recent controversies that snail games or whatever their faces, wild snails or something, I don't know their names. From what I've heard recently, they're kind of a garbage company. So seeing this doesn't surprise me. And if anyone's surprised that Ark Survival Ascended is bad, you might need to loosen your company nostalgic glasses here, because this ain't the old Ark that you probably grew up in love. This is current days of greedy big companies making cash grabs, not testing it on, not trying to optimize their game, stuff like that, and then only optimizing it like a few months after they release it. It's happened with Payday 3, and guess what? Payday 3, bro, not even the most diehard Payday fans like it. It actually has less players than Payday 2 right now. That game is pathetic as well, brother. You spent $40 for an opening menu. Oh man, it's always crazy to see. But that I do. Oops, sorry, my mic peaked there. Sorry about the coughing. Got a bit of a dry throat. But yeah, it's kind of maddening to me that people, these corporations could, these companies could get away with all of this crap, like releasing all this slop. I'm not talking about the good slop, like my man Dolan with Slop Live. That's the good type of slop. But like the slop that you're spending $40 on. Ooh, baby. I would not want to be that guy. I mean, I wasn't. I actually did spend money on one of the sloppy made games, Back for Blood. Oh baby, that game, that game, Back for Blood, just makes my blood boil because it has such a good concept, but is just treated garbage by the developers. The developers just wanted to forget it existed on the before it's even launched. Like it's so stupid. That game could have like that game has the mechanics. It has everything to be it had everything to be a really good game, but it just had the laziest devs who didn't want to put any passion into it. I think genuinely that game could have been really good, and it just sucks as well because there's so many games that I see now that have such a cool concept, and they have cool mechanics that are just ruined by people wanting to cut corners, cut a dollar. I mean, even if you cut a dollar, to be honest, I could see, like, you know, I could see like maybe like I don't know cutting a dollar on like I don't know visuals. Like I don't think you need visuals for something like like Back 4 Blood. Like I think Left 4 Dead did it the best in terms of. It makes it's sad also that Left 4 Dead's like was it 10 years old, 13 years old or something, and that game still to this day has not had a decent game to rival it. And it's I mean granted it's a Valve game, but I mean it's crazy to me also that not many companies have tried it, and the companies that did try it, they have a cool concept, but it's always ruined by them being lazy, them wanting to rush out the game, or just hating the community. It sucks. And I think that it should that practice should genuinely be that it should just genuinely be absolutely like those companies, if they do it they just go out of business. I wish that was the case, because I think Back for Blood, like the gameplay, I think the gunplay was amazing. The card system, it was rough at the start, but but they eventually they made a change that I thought was really interesting, where it would give you every single card at the start of the campaign, right? And this was interesting to me because it made so many builds viable, and it made the early game much more fun, and it made the late game much more fun as well, because you had every card at your disposal, and you got these cards by beating the game multiple times. And I thought there was so much potential in that as a feature, but the devs disagreed. They put it in. It was a good feature. It was actually one of the few good features that few good things that Back 4 Blood had, which was the card system. I think that in the gunplay, I think genuinely it just had so much potential. If it was handed off to a different company, like a more trustworthy company, and it wasn't ran by trashy turtle choking on plastic games or studios, you know, then we could. I feel like Back 4 Blood could have been a really good game. Like that's not being like exaggerating. Like it has every piece to be a really good game, but it just doesn't know how to put them together, which I think is sad. I think it sucks because there's just so many games like that. Borderlands 3. I mean, granted, I hate Borderlands 3. The devs didn't give two rats about the story or the looting mechanics. I mean, what is it? They didn't care about what made the other games special. All they did was just, put it to where get rid of they tried to get rid of stuff like dedicated loot dropping, which by the way is probably one of the best looting features I've ever seen in a looting game. Borderlands 2 is still my favorite game to this day. And maybe it's nostalgia glasses that makes me hate 3, but like 3 is, first off, terrible story, which, in some senses could be forgivable if not for the fact that they spam it in your face all the time. But secondly, it's just they lobotomized a lot of the gameplay and the looting systems to the point where what they did for the looting systems in 3 was a tragedy. They took the thing from 3, I mean not 3, 2, where you get dedicated loot drops, stuff like that, and very rare world drops. They took away dedicated loot drops and they changed it with world drops, only world drops. Like you would get world drops basically every 2 seconds, and it just became disorienting. It just became so desensitizing to see, oh, I just killed this guy, I got a legendary, wow, I feel so congratulated with myself. It just, that game doesn't have any fun factors. I think it genuinely, and it just doesn't have many fun builds as the other games had. It's just, it has all the right pieces. I think the gameplay itself, while not my cup of tea, I don't really care about the faster gameplay, to be honest. It still had potential to be a really good game, but then it's always it's always people trying to cut corners on costs. And then in turn it hurts the game, it hurts the player base, it divides the player base. I'm trying to think of a good example of stuff in the past that was like really good in terms of like sequel wise or just game execution wise. Like, let's think, Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 is probably a recent example of a really really good uh modern sequel. I haven't played it personally, but from what I've seen, it looks absolutely amazing. I loved the first Alan Wake, and I even, to an extent, like American Nightmare. I thought, just I loved the concept of it. I loved like the gritty atmosphere. I loved all that about Alan Wake, and it seems like they expanded upon that, which I think was great. There is still hope in modern gaming. There is, because there's still good companies out there, but it's just flooded by worthless companies trying to make a buck, ruining good concepts. Because like I'd be interested in seeing a Back for Blood 2 if it was, if it was handed by a different company. If it was not just given no care from a company that doesn't care about the name of it, the game of it. Because I think there's so many companies that could have genuinely made genuinely used the systems that the game had and made it a genuinely amazing game. I that I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think, because the biggest problem with Back for Blood, in my opinion, was just that the devs didn't care about the game. They didn't fix the clunky features about it. They didn't care about the little details, like say ragdoll physics or gore. And that type of stuff. Obviously you may think, oh, that's just cosmetic, that's just all that, but no, it's not. um it, like Left 4 Dead, a 13-year-old so game, had great gore systems, had great ragdoll systems, like ragdoll systems that like were really advanced, like what was it, it was like mocapped or some stuff, like hundreds of times, and it was genuinely amazing, and it would have cost that company barely anything to do it in terms of their money. Like, they just are like, I don't want to do it. It'd just be too much work. We think we could just add these things and just have them flop over and people will like it, or it'll make it like, I think genuinely, if it had like ragdolls, like that'd do so much for the game. Same with gore. Like, cuz it just hurts the game when you throw a Molotov down and you watch the zombies walk into the fire and just flop over like it's a Gmod death animation. And then they just stiffen up. It sucks because it, like, now imagine this, right? Imagine you throw a Molotov and instead of them flopping over, they run to the fire and they start, oh my goodness, and then they start like flailing, trying to get themselves out of fire, trying to run at you. And then they eventually, like run at you, but then their body gets too inflamed and just fall to the ground, stuff like that. That type of stuff could easily make the game feel so much more alive. That change alone could have really been good. And the other change, add mod support, please. Just add mod support, please. I don't get why they didn't add mod support. That would have, I would probably be still playing. I'd probably play that game a little bit a little bit longer if they had mod support, because that. But alas, they're stupid. Turtle Rock Studios, you should probably get abolished. To be honest, I hope Turtle Rock Studios goes in the gutter, because they suck. I hate them as a company. Just sucks. Anyway, I'm trying to get off this topic. What else has happened recently? Oh my goodness, Amaranth, one of my least favorite streamers. Not but mainly because I really think that sexualized content is some of the worst on any platform in existence, to be honest. And it's just cringe. But if you heard what she did recently, I'm not gonna explain it in full detail here, but it is some of the most vile wording I've ever heard in my life. Bro, do not. Let's just say some doctors are cloning wheat yeast and putting it into beer, but that wheat is a woman. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I have never been more repulsed in my life than hearing that statement in my life. And the fact as well is that I remember a year or so ago, maybe 2, she had her whole thing with that one guy who was like some crazy maniac, and she was saying now, oh, he's the only reason I'm doing this type of content. But then, they get divorced and all that stuff, and she continues doing this, and she, some reason, I guess now, is doing even more sexualized stuff. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. It's weird in my opinion. Fully weird. I don't get it. I don't get like what's the point of it? Like I get making cash off some lonesome losers who are probably browsing Reddit right now looking for a Reddit GF. Like that's ever gonna happen. Brother, if you think you're gonna find anyone on Reddit that's actually a woman, no. The closest thing you'll find to a woman is probably a 500-pound 500-pound like person who was on the TV show, like a TV show for weight loss, but then only got like 1 pound short. I don't know. Yeah. Reddit is a mystery, to be honest. But yeah, no. If anyone actually buys that and they watch my channel, that beer, shame. They say no kink shaming, but that's a bit. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. That has to immediately put you on the ban list on my channel. Oh my goodness. If I catch any of you with that garbage, you should legitimately be put into an asylum. I'm just saying. You have to be the loneliest guy in the universe if you're buying that crap. Yeah. Ooh, boys. Boys, we're going down to Poland tonight. Buying some yeast beer. Goodness gracious. Anyway, I probably won't take up too much of your time. Just wanted to talk a little bit. Goodness gracious. This week has been pretty uneventful, to be honest. I will say the play stuff is going well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's probably gonna be pretty soon. I think probably mid-November when it's gonna be over and I can fully focus my content and focus on YouTube, baby. Yeah, no, yeah. The Minecraft streams are going pretty decently. So, pretty happy about that. So, yeah. That's end of another Papa Trashy's Fun Times podcast, and I'll see you later. Have a good day. I'll see you on a new podcast on Thursday with a special guest. Hopefully. See ya.